Good morning to everyone and to those online, Dharana and Prita. um, have you guys heard the vegetable joke? I would say it, but it's kind of corny. I just had to say it. At least it broke me in a laugh, right? This is a beautiful topic, and it's a continuation of last week's topic, kind of. Last week's topic is truth, how democratic is truth, and gosh, I don't know which one's worse now. I'm kind of in a transition. But how democratic is truth? And Prita explained to us last week, and she was, coming to conclusions that truth is 100% democratic and available to all, but perhaps we are the ones that cannot perceive it. As Swami said in this reading, and the truth has to be perceived. It cannot be proven. In other words, what it's really saying is that the intellect cannot arrive. How do we, with the intellect, perceive God? And so the master said, the ocean may be willing to pour itself in the cup, but the cup can only hold according to its own capacity. And what does that tell us? That maybe he made us small and, we'll never be able to comprehend God, right? Or maybe not. Maybe that's not true. What it's saying is that we have the capacity to expand. He's clearly implying that we are in expansion, but it's up to us to expand to that level. And how do we expand? How do we continue to expand again and again and again until we can become then part of the ocean and not just be this little cup? I was watching a video by Naya Swami Anandi, and she was saying that, I forget who she was quoting, it might have been Master, but 1 million cubic feet of air can literally be compressed into 1 cubic foot and put there. But then, the moment that box or that container is opened, it will expand back to that 1 million cubic feet of air. And so is our consciousness. It is constrained within these confines of the body because we are identified with this body. Each and every one of us sees truth from our veils and from our glasses, and therefore it's most likely distorted. If our lenses, here we go, especially if we're in a transition where we might need a different lens, our vision is distorted. We cannot see truth simply because all of the lenses of karma that we have installed through which we see what is, gives us a different perception of reality than the only reality. God is truth. It says in the Bible. And, it's just like the saying, the Son of Man, Jesus the Son of Man. That always hits me because then it also refers to Jesus as the Son of God. And I'm like, wait a minute, are they trying to confuse me? But no, it's making the clear distinction that the Son of Man is this body, it's the containment that we are seeing in front of us. But the Son of God is the infinite. It's the Christ consciousness within that form that we are seeing. And so we get to the other, the one that I always think about is Swami saying, I've been chewing on this for quite a while, and Swami said that it was grace that we come to the path when Master's not in the body anymore. And I was like, no, it should be the other way around. I wish Master was right in front of me. But guess what? If he was in the body maybe we would see him as that form, not for who he really is. We cannot see beyond. And so we might get stuck, like many of our friends have said. Devarshi once said that he was in a visit that he made to us here. He was saying that one of the things he wished was that he could have seen Swami not as a friend, but as a friend and more. You know, just a friend and a divine friend. To see him in everything that he was and is, rather than to be stuck in the form that is in front of us, because that is not a perception of truth. We are seeing things from our little eyes and with our little mind, the mind that is compressed, that is not expanded yet into that million cubic feet. We are still compressed here. And so Swami tells us in this, at the end of the reading, this beautiful words that says, the self-expansion towards which all life aspires is of the spirit. An expansion of sympathy, of love, of the awareness that comes from sensing God's presence everywhere. But he says clearly, from sensing, not from seeing. First we sense, perceive, then we see beyond that. Master said that whenever a soul realizes God and sees himself as a child of God, as a soul, he sees everyone else from that perspective now. He stops seeing forms. He stops seeing this unity and starts seeing everything as one. Like Master said in several of his discourses, he would come out and say, if you could only see yourselves as I see you, all I see are beautiful souls, beautiful light, rather than seeing this form which we think is imperfect, or it has this or it has that. Rather, they see us as complete. They see us as already there. We just have to drop a few veils, a few misconceptions, fix a few glasses, and be able to see perfect. And how do we do that? I mean, obviously, Hanuman was having fun yesterday with the key, because he was trying to come in just a little bit late to the class. And so he went and tried to open, and the key wouldn't open. And then not only that, the key got stuck in there. And he's like, oh my God. And so it became this whole thing. So he left the key stuck in there and came into class. And eventually afterwards, I think on car, I was able to get it out. And WD-40, there we go. So we're starting to find solutions. We want to find the master key. But what is the master key? Well, perhaps the key word is master. If we can allow the master key to operate within us, then maybe all of those hidden doors that are not allowing us the full expansion will open up, and let Master operate. Let Master go in there. Let Master go, as we say in the purification, open thy heart to me, and I will enter and take charge of your life. Thy heart. If we can see the world from humble eyes that know that we don't know everything yet. We don't know, we are not there. We are not one in our consciousness. Our consciousness has not expanded. And if we can have the humility to say, I don't know everything, and then we subject ourselves to the Master, to our guide, for guidance and truth, not thinking that we know. One of the examples that Prita was giving last week is how many times, even in 1 hour, do we think we are right? We do this, well, it's right. Yeah, well, that's right. Oh yes, I know that. You know, I start to think about it, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm a bundle of assumptions and presumptions. You know, I just think the whole day I think I'm right. I must have arrived at truth. You know, and it's so tricky, and it's such a pitfall, because continuously we continue to think, and especially, God forbid, we are actually right about something. We have the perfect answer to something. Now we're going to go forward more, thinking that we are right and that we know. When in fact, the reason why we were right and why we're right is because we align to the divine flow. And therefore, we are swimming with God. We are swimming in the divine pool, in the divine river, and we are going at the divine speed. There's nothing in our way. For that one moment or that one day or hour or whatever, we all have those beautiful moments in which we just feel in a divine flow. Everything is beautiful. But then, here we go. There's a turn in the river. There's this, there's that. And all of a sudden we realize of our humanity, of our mortality, that we are not there yet, that we have not arrived to truth. And that's one of the big pitfalls, is to think that we are right and therefore to imply that we have arrived at truth. There's this one time I was listening to this Mexican singer, Juan Gabriel. He's a wonderful, wonderful singer, and he's a wonderful composer, or was. He's passed away. Very romantic, very prolific. But he was giving an interview. And, he wasn't known for his morals. He wasn't known to be a teacher or anything. But he was giving an interview in a beautiful energy. But then people started asking him questions about life. And he went all master on everybody. He was just giving everybody advice. And I was just watching this, and I was like, man, how did this guy become this? How does he assume? Some of his advice was good, as always, and some of it not so good, according to me. But I was looking at that, and I was like, you know what? That is one of the falls of fame. Well, it's one of the falls of success. Because we have succeeded somewhere, now we think we know. Now we think we are right. And perhaps we think we have arrived at truth in some way. Because we're so good at something, now we are good. And then we're trying to prove that we are so good at so many things. And it's just a pitfall. How many times do we fall in that? It's endless. We can continue to fall in that. And so, does truth hide itself, or do we hide it? Do we not want to see it? I had a wonderful experience this week. By the grace of God, our neighbor next door to the ashram sued us, sued me, because there's an avocado tree in the back. Those of you who have been there, and that avocado tree is wonderful. I love the avocados. And it's right at the property line. And so at one point, 20 years ago, 20-something years ago, his mother comes over. He's like, your avocado is breaking my concrete. And she just made a lot of noise. We love her, Betty. And she, at the time, she loved my kids. And it was, we had a really good relationship. And in the name of harmony, I literally cut that tree down. It was this big. It was huge. It was a tree that just expanded the whole house all the way to the other side, to the driveway. But we cut it. We cut it all the way down, like a foot from the ground. And then we cut the roots. We thought that was it. It's gone. But guess what? Well, she was happy. But then that tree kept wanting to grow. And it's grown a little branch and then two other little branches. But one of those branches went like that big now. And it's gone 20-something feet up in the air and over. And now it's created a problem again. So we've been going back and forth over the last 5 years. He finally sued me. And I had to be at court Thursday or Friday, whatever that was. So here I am. Right before, I was a little lost. I'm like, well, what do I do here? And finally, one day, it just occurred to me, call Joy. She probably knows what to do in this case, our dear friend in the back. And I called Joy, and she started doing all kinds of research and stuff, and went back and forth, even went to talk to them, but to no avail. Anyways, one of the things that we came to is, and she sent me this part of the civil code, or I actually looked up the civil code, 833 and 834. And, and it says that if a tree actually straddles on the two properties, then both owners are responsible for it. And then it states several other things. But when I saw that, I was like, okay, this is my ticket out, right? But it was too late. So we decided that I would go and ask for a continuance, all right? So Rita goes with me, even my daughter goes with me. We think we're just going to get there and ask for a continuance. So I go to the clerk. The clerk says, no, you have to ask the judge. Once they call you, I'm like, oh boy, it's not going to be as early as I thought. Boom. We go and sit in the back. And we're sitting there. It's only 19 cases. He was tortuous, sort of. But before I went there, I was home. And God, I don't know who could like going to court, especially being sued, right? I mean, even suing someone is terrible. I've had to do that, even for minor things. And it's just terrible. It brings you down. It's just a terrible thing to do. But I was noticing something. I mean, it was right after meditation. And I was like, okay, we're going to court. And by the grace of God, I was just feeling a circumstance. This is what's happening. And it wasn't affecting me. I was in this beautiful place inside of me, in the thick of it, a really strong spine. And I was like, wow, this is great. I guess this stuff works. This meditation stuff is good. So I went there. We're sitting there. She starts calling taking roll. And we end up being number 9 on the list. I was like, all right, not so good, not so bad. This is good. We're in balance here. But guess what? There was a new decree because they shortened people. So now everyone that had an interpreter had to go first so they could let the interpreters go first. Long story short, 11:48 and 12 o'clock is recess. So 11:48 is only 2 cases left. It's ours and some other people online. So she starts talking about her, like, well, you know what? This case is about a tree. I don't think I'm going to get there. And I raise my hand immediately. I'm like, Your Honor, all I want is a continuance. And God, she looked at me and she hit me in the head. She's like, you had a whole month since you were served. And bless you, you wasted this guy's time. And this guy paid for his ticket. So no, you get no continuance. You're going to be here. I was trying to explain that I wanted a continuance so we could get a survey and the case would be very simple, right? But she said no. Now, mind you, this judge was pretty awesome. It was a really beautiful process. Through it all, I had to start doing Kriyas twice through this whole process because you're watching people argue things that are senseless. It was horrible. They're arguing about, it's just a really bad energy to be arguing about nothing and to just want to be right or just want money. It just feels bad. It just feels like the worst waste of time. But anyways, I did. Again, start doing a few Kriyas. And even my daughter's like, Daddy, you're breathing funny. I'm like, oh boy, I think I'm going to go a little quieter here. But anyways, it did work. However, getting to the point, there was a point, and it was really wonderful. There was this one case where this lady had bought a car from this other guy, but they were both Russian. And so there was a whole interpreter thing going on. But she bought a car from this guy in perfect condition, was advertised, right? And then the next day, by the time she wanted to take it to the DMV to get her smoke check, some light had come on. The car could not be certified. So she kept trying to go back and forth. He wouldn't do any remedies. So she sued him. And she keeps trying to ask questions to both sides. Here's the judge. She's very, very calm, and she's just going at question. And they only have, mind you, maybe 15 minutes per case, 20 minutes. And she was really wonderful because she'll give each side time to talk and to expose. And then she would ask different questions of everyone. Guess what? Most people did not answer the question that was being asked. This lady said, well, this guy sold me the car. He was alleging that the car was in perfect condition. And then the judge would be like, well, did you say that? Well, yeah, I said the car was in good condition. And then, so it's a back and forth. People don't want to answer. We know what the right thing is to do is. We know what truth is, and yet we are still trying to circumvent it and go from the side. Even in those cases, I mean, these are not necessarily perhaps spiritual people. This isn't someone who's on the path. But we are sitting there trying to circumvent the truth. Again, the truth, does God hide the truth? God doesn't hide the truth. But thank God there is a judge, right? So there is a judge. And she was a really good judge. At the end, even though she hit me in the head and she had me there the whole day, I was admiring her at the very end. I'm getting there. Please be patient. So she went Solomon on them. She went Solomon in this one case and in other cases. She was really good. In the case of the car, she actually had had the lady take the car back to the guy. He had the guy give her back her money, and then she didn't even allow them to live together because it was very, there was like fighting. There was a bad energy there. She said to the cop, to the sheriff, says, do not let them live together. Stop them, let the other one go. And the other thing that she did, it was really beautiful to watch. She's like, I want the pink slip and the money to come back to court, and it will be exchanged here. So she was doing a really beautiful job of being a judge. And while she wasn't necessarily, enjoying it, I could sense that she was enjoying finding a solution in which everyone was benefiting. And isn't that interesting that is exactly the definition that Swami gives us in the Raja Yoga book? Truth is that which is beneficial to all. Not my facts, not what I think as truth, therefore put the other guy in jail or let me take his money, but that which brings everyone into some kind of harmony and which helps everyone live happy. Let's go forward in perfect peace. I'll finish my story though. We come back. She says, all right, you guys need to come back at 1:45. I'm like, okay, the never-ending day in court. So at this point, because we hadn't even taken pictures. So we go back, Brita and I rush over to the house and we start taking pictures. We even got a piece of line from the marker to try to show the property line, try to show that the tree was in fact in both properties. We went back to the office. We have 2 color printers. Neither one wanted to print. I was like, really? How does this happen? I was like, Divine Mother is just having fun. Let's just have fun with her. We printed black and white. We took those back. We made copies. At the moment we got there, I got there at exactly 1:45, and I gave the folder to the plaintiff because you have to provide evidence. So at this point, they call our case. And the moment we both get up, she looks at him and says, tell me your case. And she let him speak for 5-10 minutes, whatever that was. And it was very interesting because the first thing she said to him, she's like, so you want him to pay for the concrete in your property? And I was like, oh, thank you, God. Mind you, I've been praying the whole time. The whole time I'm just praying, Master, please do what's right. I just want what's right. I don't want to leave this place feeling wrong. Again, back to what's truth. Because if what we want is truth, we don't want to hit the other person in the head. We don't want the other person to lose, to feel bad, to cry. We would love for everybody to be benefited. Now that's Swami's definition of truth in the Raja Yoga book. So I'm praying for this. And she started by saying that, and then he kept on going, and then he went to, yes, we had to cut the roots, and then we put this barrier so the roots wouldn't grow back into our concrete. And she stopped him again. And she went, wow, so you're very likely to kill this tree and you didn't ask for his permission. And I was like, wow, this is great. Thank you, God. Because when she hit me in the head and she stopped me from the continuance, I was like, oh my God, what's going to happen here? Am I not only going to have to pay the money, but also go to jail or something like it? But it was really good because she started really looking. See, where I'm trying to go is at her process. She was not assuming anything. She was looking at every fact that was being presented. There's a difference between fact and truth. Again, fact is just the version of what happened. Truth is that which is beneficial to all. And it was really, really beautiful to watch this judge do a great job of it. And it wasn't in a spiritual place. It wasn't on the spiritual plane. But even where she was applying these same principles, not coming from this path necessarily. So she kept going at the facts and then trying to go back and forth as to whether it was the right thing to do or not. Lo and behold, he finishes talking, and she comes to me, she's like, and she was corroborating a fact. She's like, is this true? And I was like, yes. I thought it was my turn to speak, and I start going. I'm just like a racehorse being held back. I'm like, I'm ready. I got all kinds of things to say here in my defense. And it's like, no, I didn't ask you to speak. I'm like, really? Rita was just having a day back there. I could just hear her laugh. He's like, he got shut up. But which was kind of fun. She did it. And then she started defending me. She started not defending me. She actually, by the grace of God, there we go. She loved trees. She loved trees. Not only that, she's incredibly fond of avocados. Wasn't that just great? It's like it's God saying, shut up. Defend yourself by being quiet. So anyways, look, I mean, it was just such a wonderful divine joke at the end, because we went back and forth. At the end, he had a survey, but he never showed the tree on the survey. He was alleging that his surveyor told him, well, the avocado tree is on the other guy's side, not on your side. But he didn't show it. So she finally said, go get another survey. From the same guy, he should be able to give you a credit. Mind you, she's still looking out for everyone. And I loved it. I loved how fair, impartial she was trying to be. And then she turned to me and says, are you willing to pay for half? I was like, yes, I will pay for half, not a problem. And so the biggest part of the joke was, I wanted to go over there and just say, hey, can I get a continuance so that I can go get a survey so that we can get this case really going? And about 8 hours later, after being shut up several times, she actually said, okay, I'm continuing this case. You guys go get a survey. He was just beautiful. And I just kind of looked, I was like, Divine Mother, what's up? But there was one more thing. There was at one point, right towards the very end of it, she turned to both of us. And she said, look, guys. And I could see her inspired. The whole day she's resolving all these frivolous cases that really mean nothing at the end of the day. People alleging they said, things that really don't mean anything. But then here she was doing some good. I saw her demeanor change. And she goes, look, guys, you guys are neighbors. She says, and check out these words that she said. She says, there's going to be an earthquake. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not in my lifetime, maybe not in yours, but there will be an earthquake. And this whole thing is going to go all over the place. Maybe the city will get half destroyed, whatever. She was implying that there's going to be mass destruction. And she said, what are you going to do when that happens? You turn to your neighbor. You turn to your brother. Maybe that guy has food. Maybe that guy has a generator. We all need each other, is what she was saying. And that's the truth. And that was so beautiful. I was almost in tears. I was just feeling Divine Mother's and Master's presence through her words. And it was just, I'm like, oh my God, this was worth it. It was so worth it to watch this judge trying again and again to extract truth from facts. Facts are not truth, because this is their fact, this is their fact. This is what we allege, this is what they allege. But if we can get to truth, if we can get to the part that is beneficial to all, that makes harmony, that makes love, that makes light, now we have arrived at truth. And God is truth, if we can only try to get there. And what does it take? It takes the attitude that this judge had. It takes not presuming or taking sides. It takes not being biased by what the eyes present or the ears heard. Rather, constantly, again and again, as many times throughout the day as we might think, oh, I'm right. Oh, I know this. Oh, that's what that person is. That person is bad. That person is good. We're assuming, we're watching everything through a lens that already thinks it knows. If we can subject everything to the divine judge, within us, if we can open our hearts and install the divine judge in our hearts, allow Master to operate from our hearts, and be wary every single thought that we have, every single feeling, and every single action before the action is performed, before we speak words that might hurt someone, before we do anything. If we offer it to the greatest judge, to the one the greatest discerner, to the divine discerner that will take this and this and this and this and put it right in the center to where we might go to truth and where we might go forward in perfect harmony. Maybe then the truth will not be hidden anymore. And I like to close with the whispers. I thought it was really appropriate and really beautiful for this. And I'll put this on. Words of Master, whispers from eternity. Make us transparent, that thy light may shine through us unimpeded. The sunbeams of thy love shine equally on all the members of thy cosmic family. Whether prophet, hero, villain, tiny moth, or me, it is our own fault if we make ourselves opaque by our own mental and emotional dullness. Teach us to wipe away the dirt of error from the windows of our understanding. Our arms are weak for the task, owing to our long inner spiritual resistance. O Master Cleanser, lend power to our efforts, that we may wipe away every last spot that clings to our minds, obscuring our transparency and preventing free entry to thy light. Oh, make us fully clean again, invisible in our egos, because transmitting only visions of thy beauty, which lies between us. Oh, thank you, friends.